Welcome to This is Fitness, the podcast for the bodybuilding and all things fitness, bringing you real life version of the fitness industry from people who've lived and breathed it. We explore new trends and serious topics while dispelling myths and calling out stupidity within the fitness industry. Jimmy and Chris offer their unique insight, delivered with healthy sarcasm. Let's crush those fitness goals together. This is Fitness. And now your hosts, Jimmy Sadek and Chris Thomas.
Welcome to episode 7 of This is Fitness. I'm Chris Thomas. I'm here with my boy Jimmy Sadek. Once again, going to talk all things fitness and all things not. How are you, Jimmy?
Going on? I'm trying a new setup. Do you like it?
It's very flash. I like it. I like the angle. I like the microphone. I like the headphones. And the 130 kilos sitting in front of the screen too.
Yeah, that was fucking uncomfortable Monday morning, I'll tell you what. A lot of it, like, it was at least 2-3. I don't know what happened. It was like, I sit about 126. I did eat a bit Sunday afternoon, evening. And something must have just been loaded with sodium because I went to bed and woke up full. But like proper uncomfortable full. And that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
But I don't usually eat like bad food on Sunday night. But I
What'd you
usually
have?
eat that. After my workout, I had Portos, just the burgers. But
Yeah.
I think because we cooked, we had chicken schnitzel for dinner. But I think the schnitzel would have just had a shit ton of sodium or something in them. Because it was for a pack of serving size like 8. So like Apollo had half and Verity had a half or one, and then I had 7. So it was a fair amount. But yeah, I jumped on the scale, just 129.
Yeah.
It's taken today is the first day I feel comfortable this week, pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's all right.
How's your weekend?
The weekend was all right. The weekend was good. Not a lot, like just some family stuff, just time with Apollo, training, a little bit of work on Sunday, bit by the pool. There's a little bit of a lot all weekend.
Yeah.
How's yours?
Well, I was away on the weekend. I was at the Gold Coast, so I went down to FMG show. So I went down. I ended up going down Wednesday night. I had some Zooms to do Thursday morning. And I thought it was best I go down Thursday night so I could just do them in the morning while I was settled at the coast rather than trying to, I don't know, talk in the car or do something stupid like that, which I don't like to do. So it was actually a good thing. I went down there the night before, did that. Rego night, all that sort of stuff on the Thursday night, so I got dressed up in your suit. So it was nice and uncomfortable because I've put a bit of weight on since then too. So, that was good. Friday was a bit of a day off. And then Saturday was show day. So
Bodybuilding news.
it was good. It was a good show.
Was the show big?
Yeah, it was a big show. I think, don't quote me, I'm pretty sure the number was 280 athletes. So, and it was a pro-am. So it was a combination of pro-am. I did like the format. I'm not going to lie. The pros came on first. They got through them and finished the pros, then they went through the amateurs, and then they did the same in the evening. They could have quite easily turned around and did it the other way around. But I really sort of appreciated the fact that they did that. And obviously with Webby competing, it was like third event or something like that or whatever. So, didn't need to be there too long. I was there long enough, and it was pretty packed by the time I left, and then had enough time to get a meal in, have a bit of a snooze, and then go back for the night show.
It's a big advantage if you can get your athlete on early on the day as opposed to waiting around all day and then having to make adjustments throughout the day. Yeah,
mate, it's just so much better. Like it's like the well, I mean, it's been like that now, but like back in the day, we used to always compete, and the bodybuilding was up first, so you'd get up and you'd be done, pretty much within the first hour and a half. And that was amazing. You know what I mean? So this was the same. It was good in that regard we had some lunch, had a little bit of steak and stuff, and midway through, like we like to do, and that, and then I just sort of said, go to bed. And then, we both sort of cruised home, had a snooze for a bit, probably an hour, hour and a half, and then got back up, did the night show. Well, I didn't do the night show. I went to the night show. Yeah, it was good. And then Sunday was really good too. Had a nice meal down at Marina Mirage. A couple of whiskeys to unwind. It was kind of officially end of comp season, so it was good. Didn't get the result we wanted, but still, nonetheless, it's a good result. I mean, I suppose when their first world problems, I suppose, when you're whinging about second place or not happy with that, but
I find it funny, It's even the talk after the Olympia, where they're talking about like Sean Clarita comes second. Oh, you reckon he should retire? I'm like, what?
What?
He's just fucking came second in the world. Like, they're like, oh, do you reckon Derek's done? I like the dude come third. I'm like, wow. They're not talking about the guy that come dead last, even though he came dead last in the Olympia, which means he won a show previous in the year.
That's what that means.
It's fucking weird. Like, you came third. Holy shit, that's really bad. No, it's really fucking good, actually. But I suppose if people's expectations are high, etc., you can see how that happens. But I'm like, what? Retire? Just come second.
The problem is, man, is when you're dealing with that sort of level, like there is any number of people that can win that show if they get it right on the day, and if someone doesn't quite get it right, and that's the thing people don't understand. Like, I got asked a heap of times, do you think Derek should have got third? Do you think that so-and-so should have got this? Do you think so-and-so should have got that? I mean, it's like, mate, it's like splitting hairs. I mean, I actually thought he was third in that show. Now, whether that's right, wrong, or the other, that's what I thought he should have been based on what I was seeing. But nonetheless, that's third in the Olympia. Just the thing is, because he came first the year before, all of a sudden he's on a downward slide, is he? I mean, I don't know.
But it just shows you how close it is. Like in the last three shows, those big three. Olympia, Derek won, Hardy second, Samson third.
Yeah.
Arnold, Hardy won,
Yeah.
Samson second.
Yeah.
Olympia, Samson won, Hardy second, Derek third. Like they're literally just playing leapfrog here. Yeah. And it's depending on who nails it and who comes in a little bit off. Like,
yeah. People are strange and people like to talk. That's the problem, and people are also quite unrealistic as well. Like, there's so many factors to coming in 100%. And it's not just that final minute. Like, everyone sits there and, he's got some super trick. He's got this mixture of something or other that's going to make him do this and do that. If the body's done too many shows and the body's already tired and we've got stress-related issues, or that's just one, there's numerous things. All these things play a factor in the final product. It's not just, someone who gets their salt right or someone who gets their, concoction right at the end or something or other. There's so many factors. And sometimes, man, at the end of a long season, these guys have done a couple of shows in a row and they get to the third one and their body's tired. It's clapped out, So,
okay, but then what if they've done one show and they don't nail it? What happens?
Well, they just missed the mark.
And I think it's a bigger deal in this sport because you get to compete only once or two, like three times in a season. Like in Australia, we can do, if you really wanted to, you do the qualifier, you can do the nationals, and you can go and do the Olympia, say. Mm-hmm. So you got three shows, but if they're just aiming for the one, like, fuck, your body changes a lot in a year too.
Of course.
So whose fault is it? We'll lead into this topic with the big shit that's been going on the last 3-4 days with the coach. It's coaching Russian roulette now because there's so many free agent athletes up for grabs in the bodybuilding world because of the thing that's been going on with Matt Jansen. So you're not that up to speed with it. Basically, Quinton Araya from his New York show ages ago decided to drop a video on Matt Jansen, just telling everyone what a shit cunt he is as a coach and how he's not a good coach or whatever.
Which is a charming thing to do.
We'll talk about that later. But regardless of the video, coincidentally, athletes just started leaving him left, right, and center or they were already ahead of it and they'd already had the conversation with Jansen or whatever. But coincidentally, straight after that video was dropped, Sean left in, Justin left in, Brett left in, Nick left in. You know, these are big names who's had success with in the past. So Matt put a post up, I think yesterday, maybe today, saying that he just hasn't got the passion for coaching no more. And he owned it that he wasn't that into it the last year, which is look, I think it's a good thing. If you can own up to what like your fuck up or whatever, instead of trying to deflect or whatever. So I don't think he's coaching anymore at all.
Right.
So what do you reckon? Do you think when those things happen, just say you have a disagreement with your coach or you're not happy how you got brought in, is it etiquette to blast them online?
No, absolutely not. No, it's not. Like seriously,
what would be the what would be the not protocol, but what would be the right way to go about it?
Okay, so a friend of mine told me a few years ago, right? Once upon a time, two men would resolve their differences with pistols at high noon. And hello, Nathan Jacobs, wherever you are, right? He goes, now they've just posted on social media. So that's my point of view on this, right? The dude could just talk to him about it. I don't really understand why you would do that. I've been the victim of it too in the past. You know this, and it's gutless. It's a one-sided approach. You don't know the whole story. And then on top of that, I've been coaching a long time too. Like I've coached athletes that definitely just get a coach so they have someone to blame. They don't follow what the coach says. And at the end of it, they just use the coach to blame. And there's one person in particular I'm thinking about who's done it numerous times with numerous different people, So, a coach needs to be accountable. There's no doubt about that. And the coach needs to put his hand up when he fucks up. But he also needs to know that the client is 100% compliant, right? And following to a T. So then the coach can turn around and go, you know what? If I had my time over again, I wouldn't do it the same way. I'm not happy with that result. I'd do it differently. But how do you expect a coach to do that when you don't know if the client's doing it? Now, I don't know what the scenario is with this guy because you just mentioned it before, but the answer to your question is no. Social media is just a gutless way to handle that. And as I said, I don't know the full story, but if he's lost a fair few people all at the same time, I think there's probably a little bit more to it that may come out because if you got one guy that's pissed off and you've got others that you've been happy with you for years, I don't see that there would be a mass exodus unless there might be something else.
He might, but what he said was he just hasn't got the passion to coach no more.
Do you reckon prior to the others leaving, or?
I think he would have got ahead of it. I think even after the video dropped, he would have had a discussion with them all. So, but look, who knows? Like it's like again, like not Facebook, social media is smoke and mirrors. Generally, like where there's smoke, there's fire. But also, there can be a lot of just fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
That you don't know like which way, whether it's, yep, that's right, nobody's right. But it could be in the guy, his best interest to do the video because he looked like shit. Also, so he needs something to blame as well. Or it could be a combination of fucking everything. So, look, I don't know. I personally, if you have a problem with the coach, just drop them. There's lots of them out there. Like, it's like eating at a restaurant, yeah?
Yeah.
Generally, the food's going to be always good, right? You might get the occasional bad meal. But are you going to leave a bad review for that one-off bad meal? Like, you're going to fuck the owner's business, right? With the bad review. But the owner didn't cook the meal. The cook might have been having a bad day. It just could have been a mistake. It's a one-off thing. Have a conversation with the owner, which would be the coach, and then go eat at another restaurant next day. You know what I mean? Because no one will sting at high tune when the coach does good. Yeah? Or no one sings at high tune when the last 4 weeks the coach is at 24/7 call because they're people that like the athletes are having meltdowns, and they all fucking do. But as soon as something goes the other way, they're first to complain, whinge, bitch, blame. So I don't know. I think you just take it up with the fucking coach and just go get a new one.
Yeah, I think ego's got a lot to do with it too, as well. That's the reason why they take to social media, because Okay, I don't know what the story is 100%. I'm assuming he didn't look that good or, whatever. So he's not happy with the way he looks. Instead of just dealing with it, he's got to turn around and go, blah, 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 blah. This is the reason why I didn't look good, and that's purely the ego at work there, and that's the goal of, of posting like that. As I said, just talk to the coach about it, man, like seriously, and then just leave him if that's what the case is. But the problem is the egos are too big, man, and people just can't sit there and go, do you know what would have been wrong with him turning around and saying, and I don't know, right? But what would be wrong with him turning and saying, we didn't get it right. We didn't get it right. So when they win, it's a team effort. It's the athlete and the coach. We got it right. We did it. But when you didn't get it right, it's the coach is shit and the athlete wants to post a video. No, you know what? Go get fucked. That's what I think.
See, like when you send me through a plan, right? You're going to send me through a plan soon.
Right.
I'm going to go over it.
Anyone?
I've got the back workout, yeah. I'm like, fucking slow negative shit. Fuck. I did look at it. I'm going to go over it. And like, me personally, if with my nutrition plan, I'm just going to look at it and go do it.
Yeah.
But with my clients, because I don't expect anyone to be like me. Therefore, I won't treat anyone like me. So when I do a plan for someone, I just call it, here's my final draft. It's a draft, right? Go through it, critique it, tell me what you like, you don't like. When we sit down next or have a chat, we'll go through it together, and I can move some things around if you're not willing to do some things that I've put in, whether it be from food to subs to fucking whatever, right? But because at the end of the day, it's on the athlete. The athlete has to do it. So if they say yes, that's fine to the coach, and then don't do it or don't want to do it but still do it, that's not the coach's fault because you haven't provided feedback.
Well, yeah. It all comes down to compliance. It all comes down to honesty, and it all comes down to being able to look in the mirror. And unfortunately, a lot of those things people can't do, and are quite delusional. And also, it's weird, when you coach for a number of years, you look at check-ins and you look at the things that are written in the check-ins, right? And you look at it and go, geez, that doesn't even make sense. Like, I had a clean cheat. I had this, I had this, I had this. Like, on what planet do you think that this is a clean cheat? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or, like I ate too much on this day and then I didn't eat for 2 days or something like that. It was like, people invent stuff. And then when stuff doesn't go right, ultimately it's the coach that cops it, right? Now, I know I'm on the coach's side here. I don't know the full story of this. I'm going to look at it because I want to know what the full story is, because I think that there's probably a bit more to it, right? But, mate, I'm the same. You know, pretty much early on, you've got a level of athletes that are on a level of like adherence, compliance, discipline. Each week when you ask them, were you successful in your plan? What was your success rate? What was give yourself a compliance score from 100? There's some clients or athletes that's actually an insult to even ask them, because the answer is 100%. But then you got the other ones that go, I was about 75. I was good till Thursday. And then, I got caught out without my meal and my chicken went bad and I had to go to Subway and make do. And, from that point onwards, it was downhill, excuse land, you know what I mean? So, and then they call that a 75%, and that's probably a 50%. So it's really quite interesting. It's about knowing your clients and then obviously being realistic with the goals that they're trying to achieve, because you're not going to be a bodybuilder if you're going to be half-assed. It's a simple, you're not going to be a good one anyway.
I find it way easier when I have to follow a plan. I don't have to think.
Man, I'm the same. I think when I'm following structure 100%, I think the rest of my life flourishes as well because of structure. It filters through.
But it's also, what you're supposed to eat. So why aren't your meals prepped?
Yeah.
Like when I'm dieting properly, and I leave the house, even though I know I might be going and I'm going home at lunch.
Yeah.
I'll still take my whole day's worth of food.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. You know what I
Right.
mean? Even if it's a weekend and we're just going up the shops for half hour to do groceries or something, whatever the next meal is, I'll take it. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I'm exactly the same as that. We've done it together many times. Show day and that. I get it all the time. Oh, but men are on in the morning and I'm up second, so why am I taking 4 meals with me? Well, what happens if they have a power blackout or something and the show's delayed half a day? There you go. There's your answer.
The yeah, I don't know. So, but the second thing, we'll leave that. So we should just blame all the coaches all the time. No.
Why not?
It
You're
make
right.
things easier. But the second thing that went down was Mike Van Wyck
Yeah.
had some online beef with an influencer. So he basically made a comment asking like, why do all science-based coaches
Mhm.
look like shit?
Right.
That's like they all have no muscle. So like they're like, if you extend here and curl here and bend at 90 degrees, blah blah blah, you'll grow this much more muscle, but yet they don't have muscle. So he was basically putting shit on them.
Who's asking that question? The influencer's asking that question, or
So he was just putting shit on the influence, the science-based
Yep.
coach that
Right.
makes it so super technical, but they have no muscle themselves. Like it was, why don't you have muscle? Like what? It's the old age of like, should you choose a coach who's in shape or one that's out of shape? Do you know what I mean? And there's going to be always exceptions to the rule. But then they train at the same gym, coincidentally. So the science-based coach had his camera rolling, and you don't see what happened previously. All you see is Mike Van Wyck walking up to him and basically open hands, throat punching him, and then knocking him down. Apparently, he hit him again and has 2 charges. But yeah, it's because look, in this day and age, you can't hit no one, which is pretty shit. Because the science-based influencer is like 5'6", 80 kilo, and Mike Van Wyck 6'3" at 300 pounds. All right, so the influencer or the science-based coach, he can say whatever he wants because he knows I'm not going to get hit because Mike will get in trouble.
That's right.
Well, back in the day, talk shit, get hit.
Right.
So there's consequences for action. So he's just got a consequence for his action. I don't know what the big deal is. Like, you obviously know that he antagonized him before he hit him, regardless of what was said. Because no one's just going to walk up to someone and punch him. He's going to say, what are you going to do about it? Or say something like that. And the retaliation was punch.
There you go. So I don't have a problem with it.
The internet is against Mike, which tells you something about the internet.
Well, because they can cancel him. Don't forget. Look out.
Well, the gym already did. So here's the funny thing: the gym that he works out of, they've already kicked him out.
But hang on a second. Where did you say? Where's he from? He's Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they've got a lot of problems up there anyway. So.
Yes, I wouldn't think this would be one of them. Oh, boy.
Boy, oh, boy.
Boy, oh, boy. All right, how's the week been? You been back training?
Training and nutrition.
Man, that's the only thing that I'm just. That's the only reason why I'm a little bit out of whack. I took the day off Monday. I got back lunchtime and went, you know what, I'm having a personal day today because I pretty much worked the weekend. And then, and just new clients, things like that. Got a lot of work to do. And then yesterday, I had a train, did my work, and today just absolutely no chance. I probably could have squeezed an hour out somewhere in the middle of the day. But I just knew that if I went, I'd just be looking at my phone or me on emails or stuff. So I thought I'd just sit in. And I've been exactly where you see me now. I've been here since 8 o'clock this morning. So I've basically only moved twice to have a meal. And I won't be moving from here probably till about 6:30 tonight, I would say. But I'm going to be a lot happier person by that point because I will have had most of my work done by then. So
Yeah.
I've got
Well,
this massive plan to write. Fuck, it's difficult.
yeah, just do mine first.
That's the one. That's the difficult one.
the I've got like 4 programs to write, but I
Yeah,
just tell them I'll get it back to them by Saturday because
yeah,
like Monday I'll finish off all my check-ins from the weekend.
yeah.
Tuesday I try and stay off the computer. Wednesday we got this. Thursday is my full day on the floor. And by Friday, I'm like, man, I do whatever check-ins come
Yeah,
through, but
yeah.
I don't really want to fucking sit in the computer on a Friday evening.
Mm,
But see, I do it today. But as soon as Apollo comes home from daycare,
yeah,
it's I can't do anything else. It's just make
yeah.
sure this kid don't die.
Yeah, well, that's a huge parameter, that one.
That's
So
all it. But he takes it. He'll take. If I have my phone, he'll take it
yeah,
and just go play racing cars with it on the floor,
mm.
which is no good for a brand new phone.
Yeah, so he just grinds the screen off for you.
Well, yes. But I did get to train today. Usually I like to do legs today.
Mm.
But I had a client start at 2 a.m. this morning. So yeah. If I got home from work before we did this, I would have been in a mad rush.
Mm.
And I would be no good for this today.
Yeah, yeah.
So legs took a breather.
Well, I kind of came up with the thought process that I'll train tomorrow and I've got the rest of the week pretty much free to go and train. So I just thought, you know what? It's been comp season. It's always a bit up and down, especially the weekends you travel. You don't come back on the Sunday, come back on a Monday or something like that, especially when you're from interstate, you know. So, but I'm looking forward to settling into a routine now in doing that. And then also building this deck. That's going to start too now as well. So I reckon that'll be done by Christmas. So well, that's what the plan is. So
Yep. So what? So you have no more contest prep clients starting prep until what, December, January?
yeah, I haven't looked at exactly what the dates are now, but we're looking at April obviously for season A. So I've got obviously got athletes in that. So they're outside of the 20 weeks still. I'm guessing it's probably somewhere in the 25 to 30 range, I would imagine.
Yeah, 20,
So that
25.
probably gives us a bit more just allows you to get on top of things. It just bottlenecks a lot when you're at comp prep season. The contact becomes, obviously it's daily and things like that, and everything sort of bottlenecks, and your time is at a premium. So I'm looking forward to just settling into the old routine again for a while.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Mm.
And focus a little bit on your own training, a little bit on yourself. You've got
Yeah,
a
I'd
goal
like
in
to do
mind,
that.
do you?
Well, I just want to get my training right, mate, again, properly. Like I was training really well up until about 4 weeks ago. And there's no excuse. It's just that, when I travel, I just like, it's not like a priority to me to go and find a gym on the corner or something and go knock a session out. Like I just sit there and go, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy being away, do the work that I need to do, catch up with friends, because these are things that are important, man. And as well, that you sort of, along the way, you kind of neglect. And as you get older, you start to not neglect those things as more because you start to realize that the time you spend with people becomes less and less, So when you have the opportunity to do it, you make sure it happens. Well, for the ones that are important.
No, I understand. That's why I like these podcasts. These podcasts are good. We get a
Yeah,
mandatory chat for 90 minutes, no
exactly.
matter what, every week.
Every week. Yeah, I know.
I was going to ask, so
Yeah.
in terms of okay, so being on, say, a busy schedule. You've been talking, you've had a busy schedule lately.
Hmm.
If there was someone who has a constant busy schedule,
Yes.
they might not compete or whatever, but they want to get the full body in over the week
Hmm.
or over a 2 week split, whatever. What would be your suggestion for a split? If the person could only train, say, 3 days a week, 1 week, and then the next 4 days.
Well, what would be the split? I mean, to be honest, I actually like training 4 days a week. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done that a lot in the off season, so I think it's enough, plenty enough. So you're saying that this person's training 7 days a fortnight, basically.
Yeah, so like their A week they can do 3, their B week they get an extra day off.
Yeah. It comes down to what they're trying to achieve. If they're trying to be a bodybuilder or if they're trying to improve, and if they've got weaker body parts and they're trying to bring certain things up. So obviously that would take priority first. But I would definitely on the 3-day week, I would factor in a very strong leg session. And if you do that correctly, you won't need to do them until the following week anyway. I don't know. People like push-pull legs, like I've done it. I don't mind it. It's not that I don't disagree with it. I like training chest and back together. I've always said this with you. So I train chest and back together. I train it in an opposing manner. And then I train shoulders and arms together. And then I train lower. And if I do 4 days, I would do a more quad dominant one lower day, and then the second lower day would be a more posterior dominant, but it would have a
so the week with the extra day,
yeah,
you would add an extra leg day.
I would, yeah.
That's interesting because I was thinking more like what you said, the 3-day one: chest, back, shoulders, arms, legs.
Yeah.
Then on the 4-day week,
yeah,
more of a push, shoulders, chest, shoulders.
Yeah.
Back buys. Oh, sorry, back traps.
Yeah.
Legs, and then an arm day.
Yeah.
Something like that.
If you did it the way that we just said, right, and you did it obviously alternating, then obviously you would hit 2 legs, 2 leg sessions, quad dominant, posterior dominant, twice in the second week. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously when you turn around, when you do the opposite week and you do it once, you'd be training the opposing one. So you'd be always hitting them in sequence all the time.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. So
do you train your legs separate now?
yes. Yeah.
Is that so do you like it better or because of your knee?
Both. Both. But I find that because of the way my knee is pretty bad, if I don't train, I need to train hammies with the quads. So I need to have everything warm to obviously train it correctly and obviously feel it and contract it, just do everything or execute correctly.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's a fine line. So if I sit there and pull really hard with like a hamstring curl or something rather than I'm doing a leg extension, so I'm going opposite levels, it actually can be quite painful. So I've kind of like got to be mindful of not putting those two things together and sort of, if I did it, for example, I might do depending on what order. This is an example because I muck around and swap things around all the time. But, I might do a pre-exhaust on the hamstring, for example, like a curl or something, and then leg press or do or upright machine squat or something like that. And I might train them that way. And I find that I have less problems with it. I have less pain in the knee joint with it. And I just put it down to, I've got more activation because of the way that I've done that, whereas if I go and just train it cold and I just train quads, man, the amount of times I get little pings in my hamstrings, as you're getting older, you're doing eccentric phase of the leg press, you get to the bottom of the range and then right up near the tie, you get this little like ping. And then you're not training your legs for a week or so because it's not a tear, but it's something that's going to cause you some grief. So I'm quite careful with it.
Yeah. I split my legs, especially before my surgery. At the moment, it's kind of a similar workout the whole time. But I split them into like I do quad hammies both the same day. One day will be 2 hammy movements, leg extensions, 2 presses. And then the next day, it's all single leg stuff. So it's single leg curl, superset with single leg extension. But then I'll go into seated leg curl, superset with leg extension. Then I'll do, say, maybe a single leg press with a lunge. But it's all, I'll kind of go a single leg superset, then double leg superset, then I'll go into a pressing single leg superset into something with 2 legs. So, and when I started to really focus on isolating my legs and doing single leg stuff, that's when my legs really blew up. So it's I don't know why. I haven't scientifically looked into it. All I know is that
so it's not evidence based.
the only evidence are my fucking prostrations in
Sorry, I
the
had to say
mirror.
that.
Yeah, but like whether it's being able to concentrate on the one leg at the one time with everything, and everyone's legs, there's a discrepancy in length, in fucking mobility, in size, in strength. So to really concentrate on one leg, like I'd recommend that to anyone, especially if they're trying to bring up their legs. And you don't have to go fucking heavy.
Yeah.
Like you'd be surprised at how heavy you can't go with one leg as opposed to 2 legs. Don't think it's like, oh, I can leg press 400 kilos with 2 legs and then go into a single leg 200 kilo leg press. No fucking chance.
No, it's not going to work.
Mm.
So going back to the same question and ask you the same thing then. So if you were to do that program 3 1 week, 4 the next week, how would you put it together?
3 days I'll do back into chest.
Yep.
I don't like doing it alternately like you, probably because I'm not as fit and it fucking ruins me. But I'll do back into chest. I'll then do probably, depending on when the next week of the day is, I could go straight into chest, shoulders, and then have legs. And depending on what movement you're going to be doing for back, like I don't do any real hard, heavy bent over rows or deadlifts or whatever. So I could go into a leg workout straight after chest and back. So to split up the upper body. So it goes back into chest day 1, day 2 legs, day 3 I'll do chest. I'll do delts and arms, but I'll start with biceps, finish biceps, do delts, and then do triceps. Then the week after, it would be a chest shoulder workout. That I actually like going alternately with. So if I was going to do chest and shoulders today, I'll do a shoulder movement, chest movement, shoulder movement, chest movement until the thing's done. I'll then do back with traps, arms, legs, or legs, arms, whatever.
Pretty good. People do overtrain, though, a lot of the time. That's
everybody overtrains.
Right. Well, but I think that if they actually trained to the intensity that they should be, they wouldn't be able to overtrain because they wouldn't be able to do it. But one of the most common things I get all the time with people, and especially with people that are relative novices, and bless them because we all started somewhere, but it's the same thing. I need to train 6 days a week minimum. Sometimes I do 7. Well, I don't really know that that's the answer. You're like 70 kilos. I don't think the answer is training that much. I think it's training smarter, so there's lots to it.
Yeah, but the problem is this day and age, a lot of people go to the gym as their psych relief.
Yeah, well, it's an emotional attachment.
That's right. So the days they don't train, they're like, fuck, I'm not training. I've got to do something. They're going to lose their mind. I know I've overtrained for years. Like back in the day, I used to text people. We used to go back and forth going, 72 days in a row. Like, but that's all we really wanted to do, just train. If I knew what I knew now, even now I still overtrain. I want to get there 6 days a week. I like to go there. Usually I'm getting there 5. Ideally I'd do 4, but I know I should do 4, but to get the amount of work in that I like, the volume that I like, I have to do 5 because I'm just not lifting that intense no more. But even with clients, like what you said with clients, but the main reason, like they don't look at it like, if you recover outside the gym, you grow outside the gym. They're like, they just want that feeling of the gym. People like the pump too.
Right. There's that word. There's that word again. Feel.
Feel. Yeah. But I don't know. I like how I feel after I train too. So
Yeah.
if I know I've got a workout in for the day,
Mm.
I do feel better. I think that is more so when I'm not following our plan too. So if I'm just eating and I know I'm eating more than I should, I feel I should go to the gym to move the food around so it doesn't sit. But if I'm eating in a deficit and I'm like lean, I couldn't give a fuck if I train or not
Mm.
because the food's not just sitting there going, what the fuck am I going to, what are you going to do with it? Does it make sense?
Yeah. Same. That's why I would rather train in the morning, but work dictates to me that unless, I trained at 6 a.m., that I couldn't do it because obviously I'm quite busy from, 8:30 till about midday. And then obviously again in the afternoon, evening. So I kind of train at lunchtime, which is still a very good time to train because the gym's quiet. But when I wake up in the morning early, I'm very enthused about training. I feel fresh and I can't wait to get in there. And also I like training on the lesser food. I don't train fasted before anyone asks that question either. I always train with food in me. But I find training after one meal quite nice for me. It just feels good. So
If I train early, I like training fasted, but I
mm,
make sure I put some food in the night before. So like we trained legs at 3 a.m. on Saturday before I started work. Like that was proper good. I'm thinking about keeping that as a regular thing and
mm.
just making it an open invite to anyone who wants to come and train legs at 3 a.m. on Saturday.
You should do
Um,
that.
I'll be there this week too. So I've got to, I used to do 4 a.m. on a Sunday. So because that was after a cheat meal, it stopped me from going to bed too late. And I really wanted to train legs in the morning properly. But I like being home in the morning now, Sunday mornings. So I've
Yeah.
got to be out of the house Saturdays anyway now. So I've just moved to Saturdays. So anyone listening, 3 a.m. Riley's, I'll let you in. Big leg session.
Do it.
You'll be down for that once you're down one day.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be asleep.
What are your plans for this weekend? There's no comps. You
No
start the
comment.
yard.
Yep. Yeah. So I've got to get some stuff, got to order timber this week. I'm really looking forward to it, man. I enjoy my time outside. Like it's actually, even though it's work, it's like I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just nice being outside doing it. And it's hot though now already in Queensland. Like God knows what it is today. What is it today up here? And not that I'm complaining. Queensland rocks. But anyhow, what do we got here? Yeah, we got 30-degree day today. So
Yeah, wow.
yeah.
Good
Um,
luck for someone.
yeah, so that's the plans. I've got to catch up with some yard stuff. Obviously, been away for the weekend, haven't had a chance to mow and do everything else, so I've got to do that. Training's priority though. So tomorrow morning after I finish my morning work, I'm going to train and just make sure I get those sessions in as a priority to myself over the next couple of days. I trained once in 4 days, so that's about as bad as it gets. So yeah.
I've got my videographer coming to the gym tomorrow. So
Who you got?
I've got the videographer coming to the
Oh,
gym
yeah.
tomorrow. So we'll pump out probably. I was going to just do 4 straight client sessions, but I had to cancel, and then I moved one. So and because I'm not training today, so I'll probably get a workout in myself. I'll probably just do legs tomorrow, to be fair, or shoulders, something like that. But that's that'll be my week, and then this weekend, I'm going to go to some zoo thing to see the orangutans.
I really like these questions, Jimmy. Right.
Yeah.
So how about we do one of the questions instead of because we won't have time to do all of them.
Okay.
I'm interested. Why don't you do question one? You answer that one.
Okay.
I'll read it.
Can you read it to me? Because I've got nothing in front of me.
You haven't? Okay.
No, I killed it.
Mindset and motivation. Bodybuilding often requires immense dedication and mental toughness. Can you share a pivotal moment in your journey where your mindset shifted significantly, and how did that influence both your training and your personal life? That's a good question. Did you do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I asked ChatGPT. Fuck, I don't know, man. Like, I'm different. Don't say different, but there wasn't like one pivotal moment. I stopped swimming when I was like 16 and just went to the gym in the same complex, started training, and which was the first year of the fitness expo. And I went to the fitness expo and met Dexter Jackson.
Mm.
And I met another guy who was he's either New South Wales A and B champion or a national champion. And he said, "Oh, you're quite big for 17. You should do a show. You can do teenage."
Mm.
And that's how I started. And like ever since then, I've just been like, get your meals in, don't miss training. Get your meals in, don't miss training. I wasn't like there wasn't a pivotal moment where I was like, "Oh fuck, now I've got to turn my life around for the better," or like a girlfriend dumped me and I thought I've got to get big or whatever. It's just
You
I
get
just
it
got
back.
I just got into it like when I was young, and I stayed into it. Maybe like back then, like I compared to how the teenagers and the juniors look now, I looked like shit. But back then, I didn't look like shit. So I had some relative success, and I enjoyed it. So I love training. I never trained to compete. You know what I mean? Like I really don't like to compete.
Mm.
I just like to train, and like the ongoing motivation is quite simply to look better than everyone else. I just want to look better. Like I would like to look better than the average person in the street.
There you go.
That's no big traumatic event, unfortunately. So what about you? Are you going to answer that one, or you want to answer another one?
No, I'll answer this one, and then we can save these, and we can go the others
Okay.
together.
Yeah.
Mine's not that indifferent to yours, except the bodybuilding part. I started training because I couldn't play soccer anymore because of my knee, and I was getting fat, so I couldn't cope with that. So started training. But I'm showing my age now because most people won't know these people anyway. But obviously, I was a big wrestling fan back in the day, right? And I started training because, it sounds funny, I just wanted to look like either one of the British Bulldogs, right?
Yes.
Dynamite Kid or Davey Boy Smith, right? Mr. Wonderful Orndorff or Ricky Steamboat probably had the nicest looking physique. He wasn't quite as big, the Hawaiian one. And that was it. That's why I trained, right? And I trained basically my whole life. And then I just trained because I loved it. And I remember I was sitting there, and I started taking it real, like I trained my whole life, and then I started taking it really seriously again when I was about 29 or 30. And pretty much from then till now, I had just not missed a beat, basically, apart from a few operations here or there and, stuff like that. And I trained continually at that point, from that point, let's say from 29, 30, probably for about 4 or 5 years. And I actually really prioritized food, and training really hard. I had a trainer who used to just hammer me in the gym. And I remember one day I said to him, and I think I was about 35, and I said to him, and I went to my first show. I went to the NABBA show down the Gold Coast when they used to have it at the RSL club, down the corner down there. And I said to him, I went to a show on the weekend, and he goes, "Oh yeah, what'd you think?" And I said, "It was really cool." And I said, "What do you think about those shows?" He was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I don't know, like, do you think that I'm good enough to do one of those shows?" Because I'd never trained to do it. And he just looked at me and goes, "You're good enough 5 years ago to do a show."
Yeah.
He goes, "I just didn't realize you wanted to." So that was it. And it just so happened by fluke. This was '06. It was '06. I'll stand corrected. He basically said to me then, he goes, there's an IPV show in 24 weeks. Yeah, something like that. So I dieted down, did the show, didn't really know what I was doing, just basically moderately cut my calories every 2 weeks throughout and just had a look at what I look like. Kept it pretty simple. And did novice and won the Queenslands my first show, and then went to the Aussies, came third, and then that was it. After that, I went, "Oh yeah, I might be all right at this." And then I did the Opens 2 years later, won the under-90s in Queensland, and then came third in the Nationals, and then that was it.
What was
And
your first, what year was your first show?
'06. So I did '06 and I did '06 and I did '08, right? And then I just wasn't content with the fact that I was coming third in the Australian show. So I said that I was just going to go away and just train and not come back until I was good enough. And then that was it. And that's pretty much where I met you not long after that, because I just went away and trained for 5 years, basically, and then came back in 13 and then won the Australian 90s. And then that sort of started the role from that point of where I was a pretty decent bodybuilder for that next decade. So, so from injured soccer player to wanting to look like a wrestler to just loving training to doing a show and then going, I might be all right at it. That's pretty much how I did it. And then obviously it changed my life in a sense, not because of it changed my life on a structural sense because it appeased the OCD, ADHD, all this other undiagnosed shit that I just don't worry about. And the structure just gave me calm, pretty much. So that's the benefit that came from it. And then obviously what I do now is the other benefit I come from it, being able to do this job, and it's all as a result of these things. So there you go. Yeah.
You did your first show in 06.
Yeah.
Do you know when I did my first show?
When?
99.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't do my first show. People don't realize that. I didn't do my first show until I was 35.
Yeah, I did it when I was 17.
Yeah. As I said, I never trained to compete. And the other thing too that's interesting too is that I was actually natural. Not that everyone makes a big deal about this. I was actually natty completely my whole life. And then when I decided to do that show and I was 24 weeks out, I think I did about 12 or 14 weeks in to that show. And that was my first ever cycle. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
That old?
Yeah. That's why now, I think that's the reason why I have this opinion about this sort of stuff. I watch kids that are like in their teens smashing the stuff. They're smashing anabolics. Hello, Apollo. They're smashing anabolics and stuff that before their body has even had a chance to reach genetic potential, and I suppose that's the reason why I feel that way is because the way that I'm not saying the way I did it's perfect. It's not. It's just that's the way life went. But also back then, people didn't do gear just to roam around in the off season and look good on the street. All these bodybuilders that were amazing back then. There were so many good ones, man, running around. Half of the time, these guys they trained all year. They never used gear. Until they were about 20 weeks out, did 20 weeks into the show, then just came off and were just natural for the whole rest.
That was what it was like back then.
It was, Yeah. So, but anyhow, that's the answer to that one.
All right. Well, I think I'm getting told to wrap it up.
Yeah, no, it's time to finish up. But these are good questions. Let's continue. Let's do one of these a week then if we haven't got a guest on it. All right?
Yeah, 100% we will.
All right.
And I think I've lined a guest up for next week too.
Have you?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Do I like them?
Yeah, you like them. All right, my man. I'll see you later.
Right. Thanks, Jimmy.
This has been This is Fitness. With over 60 combined years in the fitness world, Jimmy and Chris have walked the walk and are here to share what really works. Their passion is to explore new trends, dispel myths, and call out the stupidity within the industry. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find Chris on social media at Chris Thomas Alpha Ethos and his website at alpha-ethos.com. Find Jimmy on social media at jimmysadak.designercoaching and his website at www.jimmysadak.com. See you next time on This is Fitness.